Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Guy Whitcam and his show, Ask Guys. And you know what we're going to talk about today? We're going to talk about males. That's right, males' beauty standards. Yeah. It's cool, isn't it? And today, we have a lovely group of people. They're going to talk about it with us. Say your name for the people over there.
Davion Bussey.
There we go. Corey Davis.
Corey Davis, hi.
And we've got Yvette Morales.
That would be me. Hi, guys.
And we've got Matthew, a.k.a. my DJ, a.k.a. Come on, give him that new DJ name. What are you talking about there?
Nah, man, I'm not. I retired it, man. I ain't playing with you no more, bro.
The new DJ name
Matt.
is old already.
Just Matt. Matt is fine.
All right. If you've seen the early episodes, you understand our beef, but it's love. You know what I mean? So we're going to talk about males' beauty standards there. Now, let's start it off with the changing of the times, because there used to be, like, Cleopatra, and then you got Elizabeth the First, and then you got, through the ages, there's been different people. Josephine Baker, you've got Lucy, you've got moving in Tina Turner, you've got Dolly Parton. It seems like every decade, every few years, there's a few famous people that everyone is like so in love with, and beauty seems to change. But is this hurting us as males, or helping us, or even hurting our counterparts? What do you think about male beauty standards? What you guys thinking of there?
Anyone? I'm not a male, so he said males. What do you guys think?
Yeah. And then and people are wondering, like, why we got a woman on the show, because she's going to react to our stuff, and as well as ask us questions and call us out on our BS in case there is any. So, yeah.
Yes, that's what I will do.
Yeah.
I'll start it off. I think it's interesting how you went through the times of female standards, because I think throughout the times there's also been male standards. Even if you're royalty, if you were Humphrey Bogart, even now if you're, I don't know, Channing Tatum or Robert Downey Jr., there's always been a standard of what men should, I guess, look like and carry themselves. Currently in society, it's okay with grooming standards and making yourself look as young as you can, just like movie stars did. So I think it's more acceptable now than it was in previous generations. I think men have come a long way with accepting that. We can go into the whole other things of masculinity, because that's also changing. But I think it is making us better, well-rounded individuals. That's how I started off.
It's pretty deep, man. Wait, so the question is, are male beauty standards hurting us?
Well, yeah, it is interesting that you took it that way, because even when I was thinking about it, I was just thinking about the beauty standards that we put on women, how it's changed over time, like who's hot and who's not.
Well, thick girls are back in style. You know what I mean? Like, there's different periods of times. Like, at a certain point, Marilyn Monroe was the figure of curviness or whatever, as far as like media was concerned. And then on the inverse, you even have like Venus Hottentot, which is a much more negative example. Mm-hmm. At that point, you're being made into like literally a zoo animal. That doesn't really help anybody. But it's kind of human nature, whether we're fetishizing somebody for being overtly skinny or overtly heavy. It's essentially the same, because you're turning somebody into a product, right?
That's interesting. Well, does the product change? I mean, going from like a Dorothy Dandridge to like Twiggy, I mean, that's a drastic physical change. Do you think it's strictly just like having to do with products? And what was the product before versus
now? My fault. Specifically because you said Dorothy Dandridge, I don't think that things necessarily changed that much, because she was mostly celebrated for Carmen Jones, in which case she was, she wasn't as covered as she would have been in other films, or even not just that film. She did Tamango, I think, and that one was all about like this slave love affair, and half of her clothes are ripped off and stuff. So you're still selling sex back then. It's just easy for us to look at these pictures now of like her on a regular Wednesday and be like, she's classy as shit. But my fault, classy. But everybody, wore suits back then, and dresses and gloves and pearls. If that was in style, or when it comes back in style, people will do the same thing. Like, you probably got an example of that classy beauty now. It's not selling,
But you can take that and put that on to men as well, because the bespoke man is basically what's selling now. So you don't have to be suited out, but you do have to look dapper. You don't have to have a European standard, but you do have to look put together. You can dabble into the unisex products to make yourself look good and as clean and useful as you possibly can today. So just to go back to the question, I don't think it's hurting us. I think it's still making us better, because we have evolved. So even if you look at it from a man's standpoint, men always had to be rigorous or structured, and now we have this openness. So we can do whatever we want. We can look however we want. You can even see it like Will Smith's son, Jaden Smith. He kind of dabbles the line of what's acceptable. Can you wear a dress? Can you just be free in your own skin? So I think it's now more accepted to have those standards as a man than it ever has been in history.
That's interesting. Davion, do you have anything to add to this over there?
No.
And I would say, Yvette, do you think that...
He's going to be quiet today.
I think he is. Yvette, what I would say, do you think that particularly, are men defining what women are? Like, or should I say, what women's beauty is? Or is it a bunch of people that are selling things, deciding what women beauty should be, and men are responding to it, which in turn are making women respond to it? Or are women defining it themselves?
There's another one.
Yeah, or women are just defining it themselves. I think I said it again, but I'm not.
I think we're all sort of manipulated, because you will never see a beautiful person that's never in front of media. So you will never know that person is pretty. So I think we're manipulated into what is considered pretty. I think there is a variation of beauty for everybody. So they kind of manipulate it based off of what the current crowd is. So because we have such a variety, for example, for today's, like, if you were just to look around, you have like Rihanna, and then you can have like give me someone that's completely opposite of Rihanna.
Cardi B.
Lady Gaga.
Okay, either or. They have their own popularity, their own followings, their own fans, and their own, like, their type of person that they're attracted to.
Wait a minute. What about that the lady that plays the flute and she raps? What's her name?
Lizzo.
Okay. And if you were to see her Instagram page, it's popping, and she's showing a lot. So, like, it's not about really what I personally like or what someone else likes. It's what they're portraying as what is beauty. So right now for Lizzo, she is like, her curves, her cellulite, her body mass, that is pretty, and she's selling that. That is pretty. Rihanna, on the other hand, is not big at all. She's small, she's tiny, and she's selling that, and it's sexy and attractive to people on a different scale. So I think, that everybody has their own version of beauty, and I have to agree with what has been said. So we do get to decide what is pretty to us, but in the lump sum, it's all what's fed to us. We won't see everything that's beautiful, because they only put what's in front of us that they want us to see. But like, until I'm like on a cover in a magazine, whoever you guys see walking down your stairs is never going to know me. And then they're never going to say that I'm pretty because they don't know me.
I think that's what Rihanna is pushing for with the whole Fenty line. Like, it doesn't matter who you are. If you feel comfortable in your own skin, just be you and be the best version of you. And that's why, like, if you watch her runways, she literally has everyone. Every race, every body shape, ethnicity, whatever you could think of, she puts on the show and on display. So it's not really for one person. She's really selling you, however you feel comfortable, whatever that means to you. Go out and do it.
But do you see what the words you use? You're selling. So then essentially we become a product. In order for us to be considered pretty or people to know us, we have to become a product.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, that's interesting because everything you just said, think about it. Everyone we mentioned, even though some might be light skin, red skin, yellow skin, light skin, dark skin,
blue skin.
You know, exactly, love. I see where you went right there. I see where you're going with it. They're all selling sex. That's the one thing that they all have in common. They're all selling sex. And then
oldest profession in the world.
So if that's the case, then maybe what they're saying is sex is sexy. But then isn't that limited? And then if you're making everyone a product, and you're saying that product is sex and everyone is sex, and if you're not sex, then you don't have any value. You know what I mean? I think that could be really scary there.
I mean, it would be. It is a scary thought to think about. But that's why you have other people who, you know, Tim Tebow, not concerned about like looks. He has his own foundation that he's worried about and trying to help other kids that have disabilities. So like there are, I guess, role models that don't want to fit into that category of like, I can look good on camera, but that's not going to be my focal point.
I see where you're going, yeah.
But I think that's fine. I think we already know that we're the product. We're the product every day. Even if you look at your phone, you're that product that, you know, you're selling your own data, you're selling yourself. So why not invest in yourself at the same time? So why can't both parallels exist? You know, so I see what you're saying. I just don't agree with it. I think it could, you know, we can see it on the other side of the fence. Like, I'm
not saying that we're not a product, because I am agreeing that we are a product. Even Tim Tebow has to be a product. His foundation would not succeed if he was not a successful football player. Makes him more attracted so people can fund his foundation. So like without that, he became a product. And essentially we all, in order for us to make any money, when we go on interviews for jobs, we're a product. We're trying to sell ourselves so that we could get the job.
All right,
trying to give the best version of us.
Now let's bring this back to the center there a little bit. All right, let's do this. So we're talking about product, and we're talking about the changing in times of what men want, what they find attractive. Now it's interesting because I feel like it seems like we as males we've kind of put women in a little bit of a trap. All right, and this calls the beauty trap. All right, and anyone who writes a book and puts the beauty trap, you got it from Whitcam. All right, so the beauty trap is very simple. We said you in middle school, right, and in high school, you're pretty based on whatever we see on television, music, whatever. You're the ones, right? So you got a group of females in a generation that become the ones. So they're the ones, and then they hang out with the sports players, and they join the cheerleading, and they're popular in college and all they get in the workforce, right? They're the ones that get exposed to the millionaires, the ballers, the players, whatever like that. Then they go through all this stuff. They don't know who to believe in, who to trust. Some of them get cut out then and reproduced. Then they realize they were the bum, right? And then the other ones, like, they held out, and then they get older, and then they go through all this stuff. And then the good guys, right, they come up and try to be with these ladies, and they want nothing to do with them. And then time goes on a little longer. They think they're focusing on themselves. They're doing what they do. Then all of a sudden, they're starving for men, and they choose one, but is it, the women when they get older and they're really struggling trying to be in relationships, is it men to blame? Because, we separated with, treating certain females better than others, giving some, in general, low self-esteem. Is it our fault because of our own beauty standards, which are really, from what we're saying in this conversation, isn't really based on anything at all, but media?
Well, I would... No, my fault. Go ahead, bro.
I would say this much. I don't purposely blame men or women due to the fact that if you being force-fed something by the media stating that this is what is beauty, this is what attracts, this is what attraction is by the media, even while you was growing up, like elementary through middle school, through high school, then the blame shouldn't be more on the men. It shouldn't be more on the women. The target should be more the media, because people should really have that self-esteem.
I gotta cut you off there, make it a little faster, because you only have a half an hour show. But
Okay.
I see where you're going with it, but the thing is, men and women run the media. Like, media's not like this big ape
But
that, you know what I mean? It's human beings that are doing this. It's not like
So it's other people putting their own biases on the screen countless of times to basically portray what they considered as beauty.
All right.
But I think that's why we live in the greatest moment of human history. The information age right now, we can look up all this stuff. We're aware of this stuff, and that's why I think the lines are changing and why it's so blurred and why we're probably having this conversation right now. It's not as black and white as you're trying to make it to be. I think it's going to evolve even further than what it is right now. So it'll be a much even playing field, besides the media, besides us saying, are we influencing each other? Is this damaging? We're going to have a fix for it in the future, I think, basically, and we're all going to come together.
Yeah, I think there is a really good blend that's happening right now, and it's been changing slowly. The transition of what is beauty throughout the years has really set a tone of, like, why is it that it shouldn't have to be a specific way. It doesn't have to always look like a Cameron Diaz. It doesn't always have to. So that gradual change is always a good thing, because you always get different people's perspectives of what beauty is. So then we get a nice blend.
All right. So none of you think to blame is men are not to blame here.
I mean, there's always the conspiracy, like men controlled the world before. So, but at this point, I mean, we all have our cell phones, and Instagram really controls a lot of what is populated in your field, in your feed. So the more people that like a specific type, that's what's going to pop up more often. So we have more control over what we see on our social media. Like, someone was complaining to me the other day that they keep seeing female squat. I'm like, well, stop liking other female squat and you won't get it in your feed. So, I mean, it's just like one of those things. You have some control over what you see, over what you hear.
All right, let me throw this here, because this is important. I know it could be its own show or whatever like that, but let's do with it. Gentlemen, do you ever feel yourself or other males that you know want too much? Their standards are too high for even what they can achieve.
No.
And
absolutely.
that could be hazardous for them. You think it could be anything like that?
Well, I do, but like I also think that goes back to like human nature. Like it's almost an aspirational thing. You know, everybody's shooting for something a little higher than what they believe they can attain, just because of, you know, maybe what it means to them. You know, for one man it might be beauty. Somebody else it might be something different.
Now it's interesting. You can answer there, but just hold it. Matt, I spoke to you before when we talked about our days and the tour bus back in the day when you were my DJ, and we both talked about Prince. We love Prince, and we talked about how Prince really messed us up, because we saw, you know, him growing up with all these beautiful women, and we were like, damn, man. Like, he really affected what I found myself attracted to.
Well, absolutely. I mean, that goes back to the idea of, media and whatever images we see, so you see something, you want to replicate it. But before we switched over to this, I started to think, okay, so simple answer is yes, men are to blame, because at one point all the major media companies were run by men, specifically white men. So whatever white men found attractive was what we were going to see more of. And at this point, those are the memories that linger in our head. So take away all the media companies, take away all the cameras, so on and so forth. We're just human beings on a big round ball. The question is, will women still compete with each other and compare themselves amongst themselves for the men? If they would, then the beauty standard is something that's independent of what men desire. Well, it's not necessarily independent of what men desire, but independent of the image that men can create.
I see where you're going with it. No, totally, because in today's world, there's so many females that are executives, producers, and even years ago, a lot of the casting agents, a lot of the casting reps, they were women. So it really, men took a lot of flack. That's like, wait a minute. There's so many women in the, in the cogs there, that it's no longer a men's world. But don't tell women that, all right? Maybe I should edit that part of the show.
No, keep it. That's why I disagree, because literally anyone could create anything right now, and it can probably become the next thing. I think because everyone has access to everyone else, those influences just really aren't going to exist any much longer. So I see what you're saying. That's why I definitely disagree and go the opposite way. Everyone is in control of their own destiny, what they feel like they can achieve. If you think you want to go for Jeff Bezos' money, you can do that, but you also are aware of the repercussions, what it takes, how to get to that. Is that a pipe dream? If it's realistic, and people can shape their destinies a lot more now than they could have before. So that's why I don't agree with that sentiment.
Well, come on, man. Let's be honest, right? Yvette, cover your ears real quick. Yeah. So
it wouldn't matter. I have AirPods on.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Take the AirPods out.
No, there's a lot of guys that went into music, film, sold drugs, went to the, a cop because they wanted to wear a uniform just for women, just to impress them and just to get, let's just be real about it. How many men are really into diamonds? How many men are really into fast cars? Oh, I got a Lamborghini. Oh, do you like the engine? Do you like the craftsmanship? No, I just want a Lamborghini because it gets girls. You know what I mean? So let's just be real. A lot of things we do is motivated just by, I want to get the pretty girl.
Right, but
whatever that is in your mind doesn't really matter. It's like, you know what I mean?
But that motivation is changing. Now you're doing it for yourself. You're not doing it for anyone else, because even if you get the Lamborghini, that doesn't mean you're going to get the girl. Or even if you attain that position, you're not going to be happy. And people are realizing that a lot more today than they have been. So that's why I said it's changing. It's not going to be the way that we used to think it was that way. So I disagree with that sentiment wholeheartedly. That motivation is completely gone.
All right. Well, you know what? I like a piece of what you said, and I'm going to ask this to Yvette there. Let's talk about getting the girl, all right? Let's talk about getting the girl, right? Getting the girl.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to get the girl. Yeah. So, all right. So we got the girl, and Yvette, I want you to respond to this because, well, first, do you know any pretty females, Yvette? Mm-hmm. No, I mean like not oh no, she's attractive, but I mean like damn.
No, I have pretty female friends.
No. Do you know whether they're like damn? Do you know any like that?
I mean, I'm not attracted to females.
No.
So.
Well, the reason why I asked this is because it's interesting because in general, there's all this energy, right, to like get that girl. This like damn, whatever that is, right? And then I think a lot of men don't realize that same girl comes with a lot of things. You know, the type of woman that when walks in the room, and even the women move their head. There's a lot that comes with that. There's a lot of baggage. There's a lot of life living things that come with that, and a lot of men can handle that. And would you agree with that statement, or would you disagree?
Well, I'm not one to see females as a competition, so I really don't catch that. But I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Can I give examples to make it clear, or you think you understand?
No, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But that's like, I've seen it on shows. I've seen it in movies. I've never actually seen it in real life.
So what do you gentlemen feel about that? And again, to be really clear, because we only have a few more minutes left of the show, but, based on the beauty standards, the female that all the men want, they're constantly kicking it to it. They're constantly, some men's insecurities can't deal with all that. And then also, some females, right, not all, but some let it go to their head. And they know they got that beauty currency, and they demand a lot. And some men might not be able to deliver and deal with all that. It's a lot of stress that can come with that. Like those old songs, if you want a woman to cook for you and treat you well, get yourself an ugly girl, she'll never leave you.
Get an ugly, yeah. Harry Belafonte. Wait, that wasn't him.
Wait, have anybody ever heard of the 80-20 rule?
Yeah, I think I saw that in a movie once.
Yeah.
All right. So just want to make sure, so...
Pareto principle.
Okay, sorry. You said 80-20. Is that the kissing rule? What's the 80-20?
Oh.
80%, you're getting 80% of your want.
20?
Yeah, Or it's like...
No, 80-20 rule means she can cook. The 80% is she can cook clean. She does everything to maintain and treat her man right. But there's some flaws, meaning she's not that attractive or she lacks something.
Okay,
the 20%,
so really, really pretty person, but you ain't gonna get a meal. Got it.
And that's why I said it's changing. Nobody got time for that. Nobody
exactly.
has to deal with that anymore. So
most females are becoming more independent and provide for themselves. So it doesn't matter how much money a man has or makes, because they can make it themselves now. That's also changing.
It's a whole different debate, but I see a lot more guys cooking than females. So that we talk about that, like the standards changing.
That is a fact.
So, like I said, it's all changing. It's not.
I heard somebody was like, make me a meal. It was on the show, and the guy was saying it to the wife, and she was like, "I'll make you a meal once you build me a house." I mean, a lot of guys are working at a desk.
Yeah, at some level, I guess it gets transactional. I remember I was on a date once, and we were talking about the customer who should pay. And I said, well, definitely I was raised to believe I should pay and I should pay. But I said, what do I get in what if this is something that's universally agreed upon and I'm going to pay for every time we go out, what do I get in exchange for that? Or is there anything in exchange for that? And she said, well, I guess I'm supposed to wash your drawers and cook food for you.
Wow.
She never showed up at my house, though. And to be fair, I never asked anybody to wash my drawers and cook my food for me. But like, these are, again, along with the beauty standards, these are some of the traditions that we still carry over. So we're at an interesting place where, things are being re-examined and rearranged, and, it's interesting. Because most women I know would agree that a man should pay, if not all the time, at least the first time.
And we'll leave it right
and
there.
Not only that, it's like even growing up, that's what the standards was. Like, like when your parent, that's what the standards was.
And we'll leave it right there. No. It's we're trying to keep it between 30 minutes because Yvette is like buying a basketball team and she's like the coach, the manager, and the main player. And this guy Matt is like working on an album and. Give everyone your social media. Unless you guys got more time. Do you got more time? Or we go right now?
All right. Hungry.
All right
I'm
then.
in the middle of cooking.
Yeah,
That's why I said it's a timer.
Yeah. So give everyone your social media, love.
All right. Mine is Yvette Mary Morales on Instagram. Fill it all out.
Maybe I'm about to see on all the things.
I am GT3 on all of the things.
I had to think for a minute because I was like, is all of the things a new platform? I'm Ask Daddy. It's a funny name, but Ask Daddy .first. So Ask Daddy spelled out first. About that one.
Is that the only name remaining?
That's the only name remaining. Well, you know, I tried to ask Mommy first, but that one was already taken.
So you wanted to be the duet. Got it. Okay.
And I'll leave it right there.
First. Good advice.
And I'm Whitcam, and you're watching Ask Us. Thank you very much, everyone, for being a part of the show today. And
thank you for having us.
We'll talk again in the future. And all that in a bag of chips.
All right.